Bunny, a one-year-old sheepadoodle, has more than 5 million followers on TikTok after learning how to communicate with her owners using a soundboard.
I mean, it's amazing, and it's not just dogs getting in on the action. Billi the cat has also become an internet sensation thanks to her clever conversations.
Well, we're joined now by Bunny's owner, Alexis, Devine, and Billi's owner, Kendra Baker, alongside pet psychologist Dr Roger Mugford. So welcome to both of you, and Roger as well. Thanks for joining us today for the professional handle on this. Let's start first of all with Alexis and Bunny, and this started in 2019. So where do you get an idea like this? What were you after?
Yeah, so I had wanted to bring a dog into our life for so long, and it had never been situationally appropriate. And finally it was, and my goal was to be as connected to Bunny as possible and to have the best relationship, best communication possible. I found Christina Hunger along the way, whose blog talked about how she taught her own dog, Stella, to communicate using buttons. And, you know, it's everyone's sort of childhood dream to be able to talk to their animals. So I thought I should give it a shot. And with zero expectations, I put a button by the door. It was an outside button. I had it waiting for her before she came home. And we got started. And it was about 3 weeks after that she was using it independently to request to go outside herself. And at that point in time, it was game on. We moved the button to a larger board and started adding more words.
So you add more words. So the outdoor one makes sense because I see how you can communicate that to a dog. They go through a door, they're outside, so it's like the repetition and it makes sense. But some of the words, I mean, Bunny knows 90 words and some of them are sort of not as easy to explain. How does that work?
Well, for the emotional words, what I try and do is find a moment wherein she is experiencing said emotion or I am experiencing said emotion, like for concerned. You know, if she's in a state of heightened emotional arousal, that's a good opportunity for me to model the word concerned for her. Or, you know, if I'm really excited about something, I can use the concerned button for myself. And by modeling it in context, she'll pick it up. And she can, you know, if I model it in context with words that she already knows, that also makes it easier for her to build those associations.
Well, she's also been able to tell you things. We've got a clip here of her with a thorn in her paw. Just in itself is extraordinary. She can tell a stranger in her paw.
I know, it's so clever.
And so your hope now is to what? How far do you want this to go?
My goal has remained from the beginning just to be as connected to Bunny as possible. So there's no hard and fast goal in terms of how many words we're going to add, or, you know, do I want her to be able to properly use pronouns before I stop? But it is a part of a larger study at the Comparative Cognition Lab down at UCSD. And we're still in phase 1 of that study. There are over 2,000 participants, the majority of which are dogs. There's also several cats. There's some guinea pigs, a ferret, some horses, pigs. So yeah, I'm going to take it as far as I can with them. I'm really eager to see what they determine. And as long as Bunny is having fun and we're staying connected and engaged, that's the most important thing for me.
So does Bunny only do this with you? Or like if we were to ask Bunny a question, would Bunny respond? How does it work?
Well, you know, mostly the only people who have been in the system with her are my husband and I, but we have had a couple of friends over, and she's asked one of my friends, for example, to play ball with her, which was really sweet. So I think that if she were comfortable with somebody in the home, she would speak to anybody.
Well, you've had a TV channel who've arrived at the door to cover this story, and she wasn't very impressed with that.
No, anytime there's somebody, like a stranger in our house, and frequently when I'm on the phone or doing an interview, she will say, all done sound, or go by stranger, or mad, all done. That's not uncommon at all.
Well, that's what she said to David, our researcher.
Yeah, she did.
Goodbye, thank you.
She hasn't done it to us yet, so I feel quite honoured, actually.
No.
Well, I mean, what a gorgeous dog. Well done, you. So clever. But it's not just dogs, as we said in the intro. It's cats as well. We've got Kendra now with Billi the cat. So Billi was a bit older when they came to this sort of button technique.
Yes, Billi was 11 years old when we started. So, you know, it's a really common question we get. My cat is X age, and do you think that it's possible? And, you know, I don't think you should let age deter you. Would she have been more of a prodigy if I had started when she was a kitten? Who knows? But she definitely was able to pick it up at an advanced age.
I mean, that's the surprising thing, that a cat would even bother. They can be so aloof in something like that. And it started with food, but you've grown since then. You can, and once again, as with the outside with the dog, you can understand the food thing. You press that button, you get a treat. But where have you extended it to now? And she does press mad quite a lot, so she can be quite cross.
Which is exactly what you would imagine from a cat, right? So yes, we did start with food, and you know, the main reason that I started with that was I wasn't quite sure she was heavy enough to press the buttons, and as you can see, she's quite food motivated. So if she was going to press a button, it was going to be for food. And it has expanded since then, and you know, she does have some of those more abstract words at this point, and she seems to be picking them up rapidly.
And do people sort of, because it's on TikTok, I imagine you get a lot of people going, what a load of old nonsense. There's no way that cat is actually communicating with you. But you genuinely believe that there is a connection there?
I believe there's something. You know, the level of understanding that she has, I think, is hard to quantify. We are, like Alexis mentioned, you know, part of a research study out of UC San Diego, and that's kind of the hope to quantify it a little bit better. I think at this point, all you can really say is, does she press a certain button in the correct context consistently? And I think for the majority of her buttons, the answer to that question is yes. Yeah. You know, she doesn't go around.
Well, Dr. Roger Mugford is an animal psychologist, and I was wondering what you were going to say about this this morning. And then I read your words that it's cutting edge, so you're right into this.
Well, this is, you know, what Skinner was doing 50, 60 years ago in operant conditioning. This is a whole different level, a much more interesting insight into what animals can do. And of course, we all know, if you live closely with a dog, as these two lovely owners do with their pets, they are watching us all the time, and they're manipulating us all the time. They don't necessarily need a word button to make things happen. They'll go to the food cupboard and rattle their food bowl, and they'll go to where you hang the leads and rattle those. Dogs can easily be trained to go to get owners to open the door when they rattle these bells, which are hanging by the exit doors of the garden. So in all sorts of subtle ways, by gestures, by actions, by expressions, dogs, and to a lesser extent, sorry about this, Holly, a lesser extent cats, manage us and manipulate us. And there is, of course, there is a two-way communication. There always has been. And so years ago, it was a surprise to find that old world primates like chimps could communicate, and access to computers has given us some fantastic insights into communication with these high-level primates. And now we're extending it to dogs. And we always knew dogs were so darn clever, didn't we?
So clever.
This area of research, of canine cognition research, is a really booming area of a good science, not just the fact that we have to love dogs, and I'm a bit emotional about them myself, but it's good science. And,
do you think it would extend? Could you extend? Because we've seen, you know, and cat owners are now going to go, well, no, it's just not just dogs. I mean, it's cats as well.
Billi.
Yeah, yeah. And what about horses?
To a lesser extent, I mean, they have to be social animals, and obviously cats are less social than dogs. Horses, simple herd animals, and it's one for all for one, and they're not quite so integrated. But yes, indeed, the famous, over 100 years ago, Hans the tapping horse was used in learning experiments and much publicised in all the psychological literature. He was a clever horse who learned how to manipulate his owner and kid his owner that he could actually count. But horses, of course, are very clever too. All animals are, and none of us have a monopoly in intelligence. So let's spread the empathy and sympathy and curiosity about what the animal kingdom gets up to.
Some say nature is considerably brighter than we are, that's for sure. Ray Mears will say that in a moment, I think. Thank you very much indeed, all of you.
Thank you.